You are in town. You're at the venue right now. Are you excited about playing tonight in St. Catharines with Royal Wood?
Yeah, absolutely. We're sort of halfway through the tour at the moment, and so far so good. We're in St. Catharines tonight, and then Kingston, Montreal, and Ottawa the next few nights.
Great. And are you actually going to play a song with Royal Wood on stage, or? I saw a clip of you guys doing a song together, so I just didn't know if you're going to be on stage together or not.
Yeah,
or can you say that?
We haven't done that so far. We haven't done the duet on stage yet.
Okay.
But it may happen later in the tour.
Great. Now, when I saw you, I guess it was 4 years ago. Is that right? 2014. You came into TAPS, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and just I was hypnotized by your voice and ability, your songwriting and everything. And then you were so down to earth and personable about talking with people on the patio and just actually making time. You don't see that too much from rock stars anymore. They actually hang around after the event and talk to people. I saw on Facebook or some social media the other day, "Hey, great meeting you," type of thing. So is this something that you like to do personally often, or?
Absolutely. I feel like, especially in this day and age, we all spend a lot of time in our own little virtual worlds. And part of what I think allows me to keep going day after day, being on the road especially, it can get a little lonely. And so just making those connections with people everywhere you go and actually meeting people face to face is really rewarding.
And how many people you got on stage with you tonight?
So tonight we're just doing a pared down acoustic version of what is usually a full band operation, but we are supporting Royal Wood, and usually what that means is that you do a sort of pared down version of your normal show when you're doing the opening slot. So we're happy to do it, and it's really a minimal kind of version of what we normally do.
So I think last time you were down, was it Ben that was playing guitar with you?
That sounds right, because it was so long ago. It's hard to recall.
Okay. And so can you name who's backing you up tonight?
Yeah, so it's Adam Bowman is on the percussion and is playing percussion, rather, and Jeff Eager is on guitar.
All right. And you'll be playing songs off the album Playing Chess, I take it?
That's right, yeah. So my album Playing Chess came out a little earlier this year, and it was my debut album, and it features songs originally recorded for Chess Records out of Chicago back in the 50s and 60s. And so we're going to be doing some of that beautiful classic music tonight with our own spin on it. And also, we're previewing some of my original material, which will be on the new album, and that's coming out in the middle of 2019, and that album will be entirely my original music.
And to back you up on the album Playing Chess, you had some talent there. I think I saw Questlove, Captain Kirk Douglas, Dap Kings.
It was just a crazy time getting to work with all these legendary musicians, and as well as Betty Wright, who has had a decades-long singing career herself, and was the vocal producer of the record, and just a great cheerleader to have along the way in making the record, because this was the first album that I had made, and having this amazing team around me was really a pleasure and an inspiration.
Now, I don't know why I'm surprised to find out that this is your first album. How have you been releasing music? I know you've been really active on YouTube, but I just thought that most of these songs that you were playing came from an album, I guess. But talk to me a little bit about how you've gotten to this point, distribution, and how it's led to opening for Royal Wood and some of these other great guests that you've had on your last album.
Well, I'm working with S-Curve Records out of New York, which is a wonderful little boutique label that's affiliated with BMG, and they just have been so supportive. We've been working together for the past couple of years, and they've really helped to bring me to the next level, and connected me with people like Questlove and people like the Dap Kings and Betty Wright, and just a great team over there, as well as Awesome Music, which is a Toronto-based boutique label. And so I'm really surrounded right now with some really high-level players in the industry that have helped to sort of get me on the road. We've been all over Europe this year, or I shouldn't say all over, but we've been over much of Europe this year.
Right.
And we'll be back again in the new year. So this is actually our first little Canadian tour this year. We've done a few one-offs here and there, but we're really enjoying hitting the road in Canada right now.
Good. Looking forward to seeing you tonight in St. Catharines. You're at the First Ontario Performing Arts Centre, opening for Royal Wood. And what's your strategy been to this point? I mean, to get to this point, because, you know, I'm really well connected to the local music scene here in Niagara, and I'm constantly surprised by the level of talent that really just doesn't get the exposure, doesn't get the sales or the performance fees or what have you. I know it's really tough these days in the internet world. So what has your strategy been to get to where you are now, as far as distribution and just exposure and period?
Well, I think the strategy is the same for all of us, the ones who have had some success and those who haven't, and that is just working really hard and, networking as much as you can and getting out and meeting fans and doing the hard work, because some of it means playing playing all over, not only just in the big cities. It means, long drives. It means putting in your time. And so I think that's part of, but that being said, all the people who haven't had the opportunities that I've had, many of them anyway, are doing all of that. And so I think some of it is just luck. Some of it is, just having met the right people who could introduce me to the right other people.
Right.
So I wouldn't say that there's something specifically unique about my strategy, but I would say that the number one thing is just to be willing to put in the hours. And I've been at this for a really, really long time. So I'm really proud of the success that we're having now.
Yeah, and when you say a really long time, when did you start down this road?
Well, I started singing professionally when I was in high school. I think I was about 14 or 15 when I got my very first singing jobs. And I wasn't touring at the time or anything, but I was in a band in my early 20s, and we toured a little bit in Canada. And some of that is just building your road readiness and I don't think that there is a formula, really. I think everybody's hustling, and some of us have some luck, and some of us, but everybody's hustling in this business. It's not easy.
Now, I just saw a video. I think I've probably seen this before, because I've kind of unconsciously ripped off the saying cellar sessions, because we broadcast from the cellar here, and I often have you're in a wine cellar. I'm like, oh man, I thought it was original with that one, and just today I see your cellar sessions, and it's called Cellar Session. I was like, oh, I thought I came up with that. Apparently, it was probably in the background of my mind. But do you have certain venues that you like to play? I know that I read that North by Northeast was one of the first festivals where you were kind of discovered, for lack of a better term. Do you put a lot of emphasis on festivals, and or what's kind of like your favorite venue to play? You like the small little clubs? You like the performing arts centers, or?
Well, I would have to say that it's really been a luxurious sort of experience, stepping out of the bar scene and the club scene, and being able to play in these gorgeous theaters like where we are tonight in St. Catharines, like the First Ontario Performing Arts Centre. We just arrived here for the sound check, and just checking out this space. It's just gorgeous, and there is something about these soft seat theaters that you can't quite put your finger on. It's both intimate and also feels sort of grand and luxurious, and the sound in here is great, and generally the techs and crew that you work with in these kind of venues are sort of at another level, and so it's really been a treat doing this tour with Royal Wood and playing soft seat theaters all over Ontario, and we're going to be going to Montreal as well.
And did I hear you picked up a guitar and you're learning to play?
I do, but I'm not very good at it. So I will occasionally, post a little video of my latest addition to my to my songbook. But singing is really the only thing that I excel at. And but I am playing a little bit of guitar these days.
Awesome. And I want to be a musician, but I also consider myself lazy and undisciplined, which I've heard you refer to yourself to. How do you stay sharp if this is something that you kind of lean towards?
Well, I would say I'm lazy and undisciplined when it comes to things that I'm not already, that I don't already have some skill at,
right?
Or some innate talent for.
Okay.
And I've been singing since I was a little baby, basically, and I was kind of good at it even when I was 4 years old, and so there was never the kind of period as has been with guitar or snowboarding or some of the other difficult tasks that I've tried to learn. There's that period where you're just doing nothing but falling down, and so I think it does take a certain level of discipline to persevere in the face of that, which is something that I definitely struggle with.
Now, Weed and Wine is one of my favorite videos. Can you tell me a little bit about the song and the shooting of that video? I think it's just flawless, and it's just well lit and well shot, well edited. I mean, the sound's awesome on it. And is that a cover as well?
That is not a cover.
No,
That's an original piece, which was actually released. There was a limited release just in Canada several years ago. I did release an EP, a self-titled EP, and what's going to be happening is that song, as well as a couple of other of my vintage classics, will be reworked and will appear on my forthcoming album. So that'll be out in 2019, and Weed and Wine is one of the songs that will appear on that album.
And you're going to rework it?
Yeah, it'll be reworked. I mean, I sing the song a lot better now than I used to, and I sort of have a different vision for the aesthetic of it. Okay. I'm really proud of that version, and that video was done beautifully. But I definitely have I've grown over the years, and I have a different vision for it now. So I can't wait to share that.
Great. And tell me a little bit about your take on covers, because, man, you really own those covers. You make them your own. You're not trying to play it like the original, note for note and the cadence and things like that. So what's your angle for when you start doing a cover? My feelings about covers are that they're the most rewarding as a performer and as a listener when it's really different from the original version. And there are some exceptions to that rule, but I would say for myself, that was one of the guiding forces behind playing chess, was that we would take songs and sort of flip them on their heads. And so a song like Rescue Me that appears on the album, which originally is this sort of wall of sound kind of production, and really flies by quickly. We make it extremely minimal and slow it down quite a bit, and so it comes across very differently on our album and at the live show. And the same thing with Chuck Berry's You Never Can Tell, which again, it sort of flies by at this frenetic pace, and by slowing it down the way that we did, it takes on this whole other color, and you really hear the lyric a lot more clearly. So I guess my take on covers generally is, go big or go home, and do something original. It's not, especially because it's not your story. Put your own spin on it in some way. Ain't No Sunshine is probably one of your more popular videos. I mean, you've got many videos over 100,000 views now. That's wow. You got to be proud of that. But the Bill Withers tune seems to be one of your...
Thank you, I am.
Yeah. No, you're coming up on 5,000 subscribers. That's not that's unbelievable. I mean, come on. But Ain't No Sunshine, was there something special about that one, or you think it was timing, or is it the...
Ain't No Sunshine has always been one of my very favorite songs. Mm-hmm. And, I guess I just finished saying how you should do something dramatically different, and then you're bringing up a good example of one that I guess we didn't do something crazy different than Bill's version.
Right.
But I guess just the fact that it's being sung by a woman somehow
Right.
puts a different spin on it, so it felt different to me. But that song has always been one of my very favorites, and I think, it's got so many views because people, they go into YouTube and they search the name of that song, and lucky for me, my video comes up once in a while, so I've really benefited from the general love for that song, and for Bill Withers. I mean, Bill Withers is one of my very favorite writers, and right now, as I'm sort of finishing off the songs to appear on my album, I sort of end up asking myself at times, like, what would Bill do? Because he's got this way of saying a lot in few words, and none of his productions were particularly huge, and he really had a way of communicating emotion and creating a mood with few instruments and few words, and there's something really powerful about that.
Now, I'm always surprised when people sing like you do, like they're full out when you're seated. Is standing not important? I saw you just killing a song from the couch on one performance here, and it always surprises me. That's not important to you, to stand up and have your diaphragm open and your lungs upright?
Well, I mean, there are certain things that might come across differently when you're standing, but really was that you can support your diaphragm from a seated position as well. And sometimes you show up to these things and the set is the set, and people sit down and that's how they shoot it. So, I mean, depending on what I'm about to sing, if it's something that demands that I must stand, then maybe I'll make it think about it. But generally speaking, I'm happy to sit if that's what the set sort of permits.
Elise, just before we let you go, I want to keep you on time, but can you tease us with anything from the new upcoming album, song-wise or talent-wise or anything like that?
Well, there is one song that I'm really excited about right now, and it's called Better Side, and it's one that we've been performing live for quite some time, and we just got off this tour across Europe, opening for the wonderful Rick Astley, actually. It was a great tour.
Wow.
And anyway, Better Side, every night just got such a reaction, and it's just a joy singing that song. So that's one that I'm really excited about, and I can't wait to share.
Elise LeGrow, thank you for your time. She is at the First Ontario Performing Arts Centre right downtown St. Catharines tonight. What time's showtime, Elise?
We hit the stage at 8.
8 o'clock. And how can people get a hold of you or find your music if they want to check you out?
EliseLeGrow.com, and all of the social media platforms. I'm very easy to find. Even if you spell my name really wrong, Google will correct you.
Awesome. We'll break a leg tonight. I'm glad to see that you're in town. I guess I must have said that I was going to this event months ago because I was completely surprised when I went, what? Coming up this week? It came up in my Facebook feed. So I really enjoyed our first meeting there and the first performance that you did at TAPS. I can't believe it was actually 4 years ago. But been such a huge fan of you ever since then. So I wish you a lot of luck tonight, and thanks for
thank you, Jim,
for everything that you do. And I hope you have a great show tonight, and it's well received. I know it will be. And I'm really proud of you from the standpoint of opening up for an act like Royal Wood. You're making your strides, so that's really cool to see. So good on you.
Just one day at a time.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe one day we'll get you in for our own type of cellar session when you've got some more time. But I appreciate the time that you do have tonight, and have a great one tonight. And thanks again for your generosity.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
All right. Talk soon.
Okay. Good night.
Right, bye-bye. Elise LeGrow. That did not suck. MJ's running the board for us. Just make sure I've hung up here because she's muted. I don't want her talking to me. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. First Ontario Performing Arts Centre tonight, downtown St. Catharines. She is opening for Royal Wood. Really cool to see Elise just hitting it. Like I said, I saw her years ago when she came to TAPS. Who was it put on? Ryan Johnson, or who was it that brought her into town? See Live and Interactive in the
that's probably who it is then.
Yeah, and just completely blown away. And then once you get into her music, you just can't put it down. She's got some really solid covers. New album coming up next year. And so catch her tonight, First Ontario Performing Arts Centre, opening up for Royal Wood. Elise LeGrow, catch her on YouTube. She's got some really cool stuff there. So give it a like and a share if you know anybody that would like the conversation that we had with Elise. And we'll talk to you. So, who we got coming up? In January we got Jessica Wilson's coming up. Thursday morning we got Jacob Bergsman's going to come in. We're gonna hit the first Mice on the Hurricane album. We're going to listen to the whole thing, in its entirety, and kind of do what I call air check, for lack of a better word, where we're just going to play the album and we're going to talk over it, and he's going to discuss, because it's been such a long time since Mice on the Hurricane put out their first album. It's going to be pretty cool to revisit some of the lyrics and some of the meaning behind the songs, and some of the performances where they did them live and things like that. So Jacob Bergsman will be in Thursday with me. That's going to be cool. He's bringing his boy with him, Frank, which is, to me, just like a little miracle child. It's so beautiful. So he's actually going to bring Frank down with him. I don't know if Frank's going to make the show or not, but he will be right here with us in studio. So look for us on Thursday. Who else are we working on? Oh, I can't jinx who else we're working on. But yeah, Jessica Wilson has got a new album. She's actually rebranding and just changing completely the style of music that she's normally done. And she's going 80s synth pop, if you can believe that. So, hey, right up my alley. I don't know if she's going to maybe do some covers of Yaz or Depeche Mode or Erasure, something like that. But so Jessica Wilson's album coming out 6 days after her 23rd birthday. Now, Jessica played for me at 610 CKTB. She was one of my first guests. Actually, Paige Kopp was my first guest at 610 when we had the Jim Fannon Show going off there. And she was 15 I said 16 on air, but she said 15. So anyways, many years ago. Then she had just won the Pitbull cover album or cover song contest with Ryan Seacrest. So she got a lot of pub from that. And so she's rebranding. She's doing a little bit different style of music from the 80s synth pop standpoint or genre, which excites me completely. So her album drops, she said last night, I think on Twitter. You can find her on Twitter, by the way. But it's 6 days after her 23rd birthday, and she's going at a whole new angle. So that's cool to see that she's still rolling, and she's got quite a following. And so Jessica Wilson will be in just before that launches. Well, somebody's doing a Christmas song soon, and I've got them booked, and I can't remember who it is or what her name is. And it's probably good for now. So anyways, we'll get a hold. You can find us on Facebook, or you may be watching us there right now. But if you see anything you like, give it a share so your friends can see it, and we'll catch you soon. Thanks, MJ. Matthew James Blake was one of my last guests in here. He's actually, behind the scenes, wearing the headphones and making sure my levels are right, and not booking guests yet, but I'm going to get him on that. Maybe we'll get him on the road to selling sponsorships too. Thanks, Donnie Nesbitt, for your help getting us live over at rockourtown.ca. Hey, go check out rockourtown.ca. I didn't really do this for a money-making opportunity. It'd be great if it, was sustainable, but rockourtown.ca is just 24/7, all Niagara music, 24/7, and some great bands. I think maybe what we'll do Thursday, when we have Bergsman, for the next day or so, I think I'll just play Mice on the Hurricane tracks over and over and over and over, because people, they come in, they go out, they come in, they go out. They're not, sitting there listening to it for 24 hours a day like I sometimes do. But so we did have a Roadwaves marathon. We had an Arab Burger marathon. We had an MJ Blake, Matthew James Blake marathon. So I think coming up, we're going to have very soon Mice on the Hurricane marathon, maybe after or before. Anyways, check out rockourtown.ca. Support your local artists, and we'll check you soon. Peace out.